Hey, and welcome to Outside the Box. I'm your host, Kate of Gaia. Yeah, here we go again for another Wednesday night with Freedom Reigns here on Freedom Reigns Radio, Blog Talk Radio, coming at you live and in, the body form that is owned by Caesar that we happen to drive around in. So I can't say in the flesh and blood because that would just be outright lying. But anyway, we have got one hell of a show for you guys tonight. I promise you that. Because a lot of things have been unfolding very quickly. And, and Mr. Man just gave it away. I'm trying to give him this big power intro here. Anyway, we have Peter from Divine Promise with us tonight, and what we're going to be focusing on is, let me say, information that you were never supposed to know, information as to how the system really works and why the prison system is what it is. That's where they make all the money. We're going to open your eyes to a lot of different things. Plus, not only that, those that are on the plantation, as Peter calls it, as I like to call it, those still stuck in Babylon. We're going to give you a nice big tool, and we're going to show you how to use it, sort of. But again, I'm going to pre-qualify this. It's not legal advice. We don't give that shit out, period. And the story. We're all grown up here. We make our choices. I make my bet, I lie. Peter makes his, he lies in his. We all have the same rules that apply to each and every one of us. And if you want to do something stupid, don't blame it on us, because it was your own damn fault you didn't figure it and learn it all for yourself. We're just going to try to help you along a little, if that's okay. Now, I will say this as part of the disclaimer as well. There's a coffee company up here that will remain nameless that got sued for a shit pile of money because somebody spilled their coffee on their lap. And as a result, all of their cups say, careful, contents hot, like you needed to be told that. That's the level of depravity, this mankind aspect that you all want to be part of have sunk to. So we're going to try to lift you up a little bit. So Peter, have we got you? Are you on the air?
Howdy, howdy.
Good to hear your voice, my friend. So we're going to tear some new, I can't say it any other way, some new government, which is rectum mind. So we're going to tear some new assholes tonight, yes? I'm in the mood.
We're gonna have a little education going on tonight.
Oh, and, just before we get going here, I do have a caller in. I'm going to make your mic hot so I know who it is, and I can put you in queue here before we start taking any questions or whatever. So it's area code 662, first three numbers 315. Caller, your mic is hot. Who have we got on the line?
Hey, Chris, it's me. I'm just listening in right now.
Who is just me?
Just me, Deatra.
Oh, Deatra, I didn't recognize your voice. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So we got.
I left you a slight message. Told you I was going to call in. I'm gonna mute out. If you want to leave me open, that's fine. I'm gonna mute out though because on my end because I'm trying to feed everybody.
Matter of fact, hey, Deatra, you're right where you're supposed to be at, sister. Because I'll tell you what, I want to start this show off with you because that's what's gonna get the party started. Don't worry, I won't put you on the spot.
And I know you have to go make something for food here. But have you got like 2 minutes so Pete can get the ball rolling here because you are a critical aspect.
Yeah. Let me take you off speaker here.
All right, and I will also say I'm going to leave your mic hot on the board, Deatra, so you can mute and unmute at will at your end. Okay, so you've got control of your own. Okay, so take her away.
All right.
How you doing, Deatra?
Oh, splendid. And you?
I am outstanding. This is exciting because we're going to finally bring something forward for those that are sick and tired of getting beat up above the head and shoulders like they're slaves on the plantation. It's time to, especially for those who've been stuck and run around the mulberry bush like they're nobodies, and the folks behind the scenes think they're somebodies. This is all. It's all coming to a close on a whole different level. They just didn't get the memo yet.
Exactly. I see you, and I hear you on that one.
Yep. So we're going to try and get the memo. Let's just cover a little bit I'll call it our story because it is our story. It's not his story, but it is our story. You and I met in a context that was pretty much under sort of arduous circumstances. Why don't you explain a little bit on how you got hooked up with me by Kate?
Well, as most of our listeners know, I had been a victim of fraud and identity theft and never notified that a check that I had actually already reported stolen had been written, and I had been indicted by the grand jury because I was served to show up in court at an address I had not lived at for years. And needless to say, the way I found out was when a ununiformed deputy showed up at my door bright and early last April with what he claimed was an arrest warrant. And anyways, he's in an unmarked car and everything else, and nobody could tell me what the problem was. I had no idea what this warrant was about. And anyways, so in the midst of all of it, I'm going, okay, I didn't do this. I already did everything, to show it, but they still wanted to pursue with charges anyway. And out of frustration, I finally broke down, told Kate the whole story, and she put me in touch with you.
So, in essence, they couldn't find a warm body with your ex, so they decided to make you the sacrificial lamb on the slave plantation because a warm body is better than no body at all, even though there was no charge to be brought technically because
right.
The issue was already put to bed by you, and you had already explained to them, hey, this account has been a dead account. It was already a non-issue, and now I'm trying to figure out why you're bringing this to my doorstep.
Basically, yeah. And anyways, well, after following your advice, along with the advice of one other person.
I never give advice. I just told you what I would do, remember?
Okay, suggestion, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
So I followed your suggestion along with the suggestion of one other person on how to go about firing the so-called public defender that was supposed to be a co-counsel that was forced on me, and began with that process and then followed through with yours. And it took a matter of, basically I showed up the day they told me to. The attorney's standing there. He says, I'm glad you made it. I said, really? I says, are you going to have time to sit down and talk with me today? He says, are you going to sign my papers? Because he wanted me to sign documents that would have literally enslaved me indefinitely to the state I resided in.
Correct.
And I wasn't about to do it. And I just looked him square in the eye, and I said, no.
Yeah.
So he took off for a minute. I think it just totally caught him. He had no idea,
So
how
this
many people...
Was this the public pretender? Public defender or whatever?
Yes, it was a public pretender, yes, who was supposed to be co-counsel, and he flat refused from the get-go to be co-counsel. He was like, nope, I'm either going to be your lawyer or not at all. Well, I'm not signing your documents either.
Right, so exactly right. They want to, and let me explain a little bit while I've got you. The whole point of that exercise is drafting an individual for performance. These are their terms, folks. So I'm going to share this with you. So we're following a little bouncing ball here to give people an idea of what goes on when you step your butt in and they want to basically literally draft you for performance, because when they get an unencumbered signature, that's your Jane Henry or whatever, now they can transport it to the bonds, and that's how the whole game gets started. But go on forward, and we'll talk further.
Oh, well, anyways, what I did was I had everything lined up, and, I had my documents to fire this attorney. I had my birth certificate. I had everything that I was instructed to have available.
Correct.
And I had my notes, of course, Because, I've never done this before. I'm not the kind of person to go around getting in trouble.
Right. Well, let's cover the notes. How much phone time did you get with me actually covering the particulars? Because the first hour you were just sort of giving me the particulars of how you got in here.
Covering the real particulars, maybe, 30 minutes, if that?
Yeah. I was thinking 20, but 30 is probably about right on time. But anyways, we'll move on forward. This is good. Yeah, this is excellent. This is so everybody knows where we're at in this transition on bringing this forward and what you did to bring it forward. But let's move forward and we'll go from there.
Well, basically, you had given me the information regarding the I can't remember what they're called, honey. Please refresh my memory.
Performance bond.
The bond.
Yep,
Yes.
Bid bond, performance bond, payment bond.
And I had all of that written out. I had all of that handwritten, but then I had also typed it and printed and copy and pasted and stuff off of where you told me to go look things up. I did that, and I allowed just enough of the paperwork to be seen to where the attorney knew I wasn't fooling around.
Cool. I like that.
Was in there for, approximately 10 minutes with the attorney. And there was another so-called public defender in there who kept telling me, you can't do this and you can't do that and you have no, it's this way or no way and da-da-da. And I finally had it with her, put her in her place. Told her, I said, you're not my co-counsel, you're not my public defender, you're nothing to me. Shut your mouth, it doesn't involve you.
Right. Hey, see, that's right. Actually, you got it. That's exactly what you got to do. Is say, hey, your sorry butt is fired. You have no capacity here. So move your happy ass down the road so I can move forward with the rest of my life. Well, you can't say it like that, but you can think it though.
Well, I did to this lady one. Because she wasn't even the appointed co-counsel. Okay.
So you had a busy body.
Sticking her nose. Yeah, she was just somebody sticking her nose in there. And of course, the counsel I had been given, he just kind of looked at me like, oh shit. I don't think anybody had spoken to that lady that way before. And anyway,
right, because they think the folks, and let me declare this a little bit. When they are thinking they represent you, they are representing you. This is their vernacular. I understand how they play their game, and that's what they're looking to do is represent you, and they want to draft you for performance by putting your signature, your sin, on the line so they can draft it up onto them bonds.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Go on forward.
So, anyways, as I continued forward, I started, asking to see these various bonds and told them, look, I'm here. I'm going to settle this account. We're done. I'm not playing.
So you told them you wanted to settle the account?
I did.
Okay. And what did they have to say when you said you wanted to settle the account?
He just looked at me like, he had no clue what to say. And finally, he's scribbling on a bunch of papers. And I can't really, with my vision and the angle I was at, I really couldn't see what he was doing. Anyways, he said, well, we're going to go before the judge today. And that was not in the schedule. I said, fine.
Right.
Let's go. He got up about 5 minutes later after scribbling on papers, and he says, I'll be right back. Okay.
Okay.
He took off, this was like 5 minutes till noon. He took off literally running out of that room, across the holding room, and I didn't see him again for about 10 minutes. And he come back and he says, it's done, you're out of here, it's closed, there's no evidence, there's no trace, this doesn't exist.
Really? Well, now, I wonder why they would do something so advantageous to your position and throw the case out. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense to me, Deatra. Why would they do?
Nope, it doesn't.
I mean, you were a dadgum criminal, girl.
Yeah. Well, I stood my ground, and I refused to play ball with them.
Hey guys, can I just jump in here for a sec?
Sure, go ahead, Kate.
There's something I really, really want to bring up, and I think both of you are going to have a howl at this. As a net result of me going home and subsequently spending 28 days in solitary, I just got some paperwork back that I will be resubmitting due to a couple of things, and I will speak of this off air with you, Peter. You will, Hal, and Deatra. In that this what occurred actually has to be completely reopened because of certain things on the paper that well, let's just say aren't right.
Right. Well, see, Peter, I
was going to say, you all know what happens when a document has an error on it, yeah? More than one, actually, but, yeah, what does it do? I guess we got to redo that because there was a mistake on that performance. So, I'll be making a phone call in the morning to a certain judge who will not be very happy with me. Because here's something else, too. I want to put this out there for everyone. For those that haven't heard me before or don't know much about me, you probably have seen the video that I was in back on September 1st of 2010 that was entitled, you're a busy guy, Peter, that was entitled Judge Bows to Sovereign. And as far as I know, is the only video recorded evidence of any individual handing complete and full payment across the bar with the assumption, from my part, because they're assuming I'm a merchant of law because I handle commercial paper and negotiable instruments. Of course, they handle the same, so I'm assuming that they know exactly what's going on as well. So what has happened there is I presented across the bar full payment in the form of an apostille from the City of London Crown, because I was originally from the UK region, across the bar there that is rendering full payment. And, of course, the judge he bowed in decency and honor, but he ran. And I know exactly why he ran. And what people need to get right now is that everything, and prior to this anyway, but here's the key to everything with me. Because I gave them full payment, because they assume everything, I'm assuming that they know how to handle commercial paper and negotiable instruments, that they knew exactly what to do with that to render full payment. But in dishonor on their part, they didn't bother to do that. So them assuming that I'm an expert is the same as me assuming they're an expert. So I would happen to say that everything kind of balances out neutrally there in that they didn't do their job. So everything that has occurred against me since September 1st of 2010, since that was presented for full payment, and they still have it, by the way, because I did try to send it back, but it wasn't for me, so I always return to sender, because it wasn't addressed to me, the being. Anyway, so I just wanted to toss it in there. So there's going to be huge cans of worms opening up this week. And given that we're in Libra, of course the scales of justice have to come into balance. And I'm going to be kicking the living shit out of those scales tomorrow to make them come back into play.
Well,
very good.
Go ahead. Let me also say I took it an extra step further. If they weren't going to settle and they were going to cause even more trouble, I also had drawn up every single code, law, rule violation that had been made, all the way from the grand jury so-called investigation, all the way to the court clerk, to the arresting officer, to the jailer, to the judge, the whole kit and caboodle. And I had it ready and willing, and they knew I was ready to file motions in the court to open a whole great big can of worms.
That's probably one of the key binders that probably pushed this thing over the other side of the fence for him to say, you know, it was just a $300 check that she never wrote. We can't get her to come play ball. Let's just make this puppy go away, because that's right, because they were all literally on the chopping block for nefarious acts, criminal acts. I mean, hey, this is a can of worms that they didn't want to touch with a 10-foot pole.
Well, honey, let me tell you this one, too. Before I left the room with the attorney, he told me, he says, this really had nothing to do with right or wrong, whether you did anything or didn't do it. It all has to do with the money. And I looked at him, and I just kind of grinned, and I said, "And you think I didn't know that?"
Oh, that's beauty. That's right. So, see, I'm so glad we're having this little call because you're going to open up the door so I can show people how to move forward on these different levels, because that's all.
Well, for anybody who's interested, Pete, the name of that attorney was Steve Wallace out of Columbus, Mississippi.
All right. Well, we got it on tape now. Hey, Steve, how you doing, brother?
Yes, thank you, Steve Wallace, lawyer out of Columbus, Mississippi, for letting everyone in the world within universe hearing range that it is all and only ever was all about the money, their god that they worship. Time to take that one-eyed monster and kill it, no?
Yep. Exactly. That's why I brought up his name. Now, one last thing. Couple hours afterwards, I'm on my way to my fiance's in another state, and my phone rings. And it's the attorney's phone number that popped up on the caller ID, and I'm like going, "Oh God," you know. I mean, I'm freaking. I'm just about to
now. You about to draft me for performance?
Hey guys, I just want to jump in. Can you, Deatra, can you hold the fort for about 2 minutes? I just have to go fill up my teacup. I'll be right back. You're doing awesome. You guys just rocking the world here. I love it. Keep her going.
Oh, no problem. Anyways, so the phone rings, and I look at it, and I'm like, "Oh my God, no!" I saw his phone number pop up, and I hesitantly answered. Anyways, he says, "Yeah, this is Steve Wallace, blah blah blah," and I'm like, "Yes, what can I do for you?" He says, "I was so impressed with the way you did things and handled things, and the way you handled my colleague and so on." He says, "Would you consider teaching myself and some of my colleagues what you know?" So at that point I said, "Well, give me some time to think about it, and I'll get back to you and let you know."
Yeah, right. Like in my next life there, turd ball. Let's talk about this for a minute, Deatra. I don't climb into bed with the devil, you know what I'm saying? Because this is where this is, in my world, it's black magic. The whole system is black magic. My brothers and sisters do not have a clue what's going on behind closed doors. And we have incredible, matter of fact, I think I told you to go watch that Santos Bonacci, The Vatican Owns Your Soul, on the suijuris.me website, just so you know what was going on in the court, because it's literally all about tricking you to stand in there, come into the bow, into that dead man's court, and basically take on the onus of the fiction so they can get a gain.
Exactly.
And this is where, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say, I said, all I did was stand my ground, and this is the way it was going to be, and they weren't going to bully me, and I wasn't going to let them.
That's right. And, folks, this is a meek, mild little Mississippi girl that I had 25 to 30 minutes to actually tighten up the loose ends, and I said, well, I think what I said to you, Deatra, I said, the bear is on your doorstep, and you're sort of like, if you want your life back and you don't want the dictators dictating what's going down here, because they got you traveling back and forth 60 miles to and from, I said, you need to put the clowns back in a box and go settle the account. Everybody has the right and the option to go settle the account. But I'm going to cover later in this call exactly when you don't want to go try to settle the account, because it will create another issue. So this is very, very informative, this here, and I thank you so much for it made my heart so warm, like I told you before, that somebody actually stood and had a spine and went in and played ball. Because if you didn't, you knew the outcome was going to have deleterious effects on you should you not have stepped into the fray, because they would have, like you said, they wanted you to sign them documents. They would have run your ass ragged until the wheels fell off. And on top of that, let's tell them about how they were wanting to bring your kids into this game. Let's bring that one up. But you didn't even do nothing wrong. That's what pissed me off.
Yeah.
They
threatened to take my kids and everything.
Isn't that special?
And that was all because I refused a public. That was because I refused a public defender.
Right.
That's why the judge assigned him as co-counsel.
Isn't that special?
And that's the only time I saw the judge was that one day. There was never an arraignment, nothing. But they immediately wanted me to sign these documents, which, like I said, they would have literally enslaved me indefinitely to the state of Mississippi.
That's right. And once they get you in the game, it's real hard to get out. So this is where a lot of our brothers and sisters are really getting whacked. This is why they love the cycling door. Once they get you in for a Dewey or any other so-called situation, now they got you on a ball and chain. And hey, I got a brother here in Maryland who literally was showing up to his probation every stinking week, and they lied through their stinking teeth to try and send him back in. But my brother had focus of mind, and he put the baby back in the box, and he shut him down. And matter of fact, the irony is he got sent to jail for not sharing his company secrets with 6 other companies that were in the same industry as him, and he chose not to share. So they trumped up some bullshit charges, and they brought this to the district attorney for the state of Maryland and binded him up, and he did 4.5 months, and they stole all his assets while he was incarcerated. I mean, you gotta love the scum-sucking bottom feeders from hell. And folks, hey, it's time to play hardball, because this shit has got to get, the baby's got to get put to bed, and we have a plethora of ways to manage these scum-sucking bottom feeders. And I'm being nice right now. I mean, because that's what. You know, hey, yeah, I'm not even using 4-letter adjectives, which I really want to call them, but you know, it's all good.
Not yet. We will. I promise.
Yeah, I love it.
This is going to get real heavy tonight, so get over it, guys.
I'm going to keep it cool. I'm going to keep my P's and Q's, because I'm trying to get forward on education. That's what this is. This is going to be a follow the bouncing ball call. And matter of fact, I've got everything printed out so I don't ramble, so that I can cover in specifics what we're covering here and why and what and wherewithal. So this is going to be a fun call. This is going to be the most educational call that my brothers and sisters have never gotten. And I've been studying this stuff since back in the early 2000s. And I got to give kudos to Gene Keating for uncovering this crap. Because when I was covering it, I didn't believe it was real. Then I started printing these government forms, this bid bond performance. I said, this guy's not lying. And then I started digging into the other stuff. Folks, it's like a rabbit trail that doesn't stop. But I'll tell you what, there's a simple administrative way. Like I say, people have the right to settle the account, and we will try and move forward on creating a venue on the side to sort of do what Deatra. See, Deatra, you didn't share with me some of the other niceties you did to put the bear back in the box. So we're going to talk later when we get off the call.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, well, here on 9:15, you're telling me what time it is. And, yeah, was I not pissed off? I says, Dadgum, Deatra, you didn't even share with me your success. I mean, I'm figuring you got whacked. I thought, they threw her in the jug, they bum rushed her, or something insane. I says, because it is tricks for kids with these clowns.
What happened was the night before I had disconnected my internet, my computers, everything, and had them already packed up in my car and was ready to leave.
Wow. But you know what?
I mean, I went so far. They were after me so hard, Pete, that I actually took my kids to another state for safekeeping.
Yeah, and this is, hey, folks, okay, let's talk about this. These are your lovely slave masters who think somebody died and left them God. You know what? Yeah, they're dealing with us all as dead entities, and you know what? This is the shit storm starting, folks. I'm telling you, this is the wake-up call across the Americas, the UK, Australia. You know what? They can come put a bullet in my head. I could care less. You know what? Because the shit's out the elephant. They'll never be able to stuff it back in. Hey, they know where to find me. I don't have a problem. Hey, I'm not warring with you. You're warring with me. I'm going to leave things alone. And this is what makes me mad, Deatra. This is what brought my ire up. When you told me what they were doing to you, I said, you know what? Okay, and that's when I started, when you gave me the pain, I said, you know what, if I don't bring this forward to her, I said, at least I got to give her this option. If I didn't give you this option, because you're a big girl, and say, well, Peter, I just can't do that. Well, you know what, it took the strength of spirit to move to a whole different level.
Yep.
Because the game was already over. Well, check this out. You had your trash packed up. You're ready to leave, and this is over a $300 bogus check that you never even wrote. So I want our listeners to hear the bull crap that they're putting on the Americans and the other countries all across in order to collect and lay a claim on a debt that doesn't even exist.
Mhm.
Now I'm pissed off. I didn't take my Xanax today.
Uh-oh.
It's all good. Yeah. My friends,
it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare, and I didn't know where I was going to be. I didn't know where I was going to be sitting.
Yeah, and
I had no idea.
So for all the folks out there who think they're actually free, folks, welcome to the horror show, because, folks, it has gotten horrendous on so many different levels. I get to hear the horror stories on this end every day. I'm dealing with people from California to Connecticut, and I'm hearing the dadgum horror stories. So you know what? It's time to put the baby back in the box. The clowns in the circus are fixing to get their heads up. They're going to basically, the memo is coming out. Sweetheart, I'm just getting warmed up. Hey.
Peter, well, the first thing I can say to anybody, the first thing I say to anybody and everybody is do not sign anything. Period.
That's right.
Period. Yeah, because you're actually loaning your signature, and they can monetize it anytime they want. And Peter, I just want to get this in the ether and on the air. Back when they stole my house, they actually had made an error on the document that I had made them aware of, and whether people realize this or not, I don't care if they do. I've seen it myself, and it's a proven fact, beyond proof. They time jumped to fix the mistake, and they edited the original. And I saw the original. I saw the scan of it. I actually used the scan of that photograph, guys, that I copied and pasted into the notice I sent back to them, and within 2 days it had been altered. So they literally had done a time jump to correct the document before it got into Sue's hands. And
sort of like Obama's birth certificate getting doctored. You know, you got to love this stuff. These people are the best crooks money can buy.
Well, again, they have the technologies, and that's one of the things that they're doing, manipulating the timelines to get the outcome they desire. And every time we do something that throws them off, it throws off their entire scenario. And we're talking supercomputer aspect here of a realm you have no concept of. But I assure you it's fact. And what I just did, Peter, was I had taken a few photographs of the document so that you have it in your possession. So if you can download it, I'm actually going to post it into the Skype room as well, because there's an error on it. There's actually a couple, but there's an error on it that I need people to see so they can't pull the time jump game. So I'm going to pop it first into Hollywood's room, because I know there's a bunch of people. There's 3 photographs of the same document of the original, and then I'm going to bring up exactly what the issue is, so that if they do decide to time jump, again, they're going to create more messes. Because every time they do this, and this is what people need to get, and I know this sounds so far-fetched, but I've seen it with my own eyes and experienced it. They stole my house using this technology. Every time someone is aware of the new timeline, it screws up all their timelines. They have to fix every single one of them. So that just manifests into a nightmare scenario for these guys in trying to keep this timeline going. Because one of the things that I need people to realize, and I know they've come across them on occasion, maybe not realize, but I will tell you this. I have come across the Watchers. I know them to see them. And these are the ones that are trying to keep this game under wraps. They're the ones that are trying to keep you manipulated. The lead cop in Guelph City Police, I cornered him on the time jump thing. He really shit himself because he knew he got caught in it. And there's a couple other things that come up, and as the show progresses, like over the coming days or whatever, I'm going to let loose a whole lot of other stuff that melts people's minds, and that way, I'm going to be blunt, they're not going to fuck with me this time. Okay, they did it before. It isn't going to happen again, not the same way. Now I'm giving the evidence out to countless people right now. that even I don't know who it's going to, and nor do they. And guess what? Try to fix this timeline, shithead, because I'm telling you this right now, as a result of this document and the illegal incarceration, it opens up a whole new can of worms with regards to my house, that they have no idea what they've done. And that's the calls I'm going to be making tomorrow. And the joy of being in peace, truth, love, and honor is that I'm in complete peace with these guys. But I will tell you this, that which you have sowed, you shall reap. I promise you that. We have just left the hunt. Now the justice comes in. And then Scorpio, which means destruction. And I plan on using sign of the Zodiac to its fullest potential because now I know how it works. So they picked on the wrong bitch.
Yep. Well, they start the lie. Once they start the lie, they can't put the poop back in the elephant. Then it's trying to cover up another lie, and then it becomes an exponential issue.
Okay, and I'm also making this available to Johnny Guzman at QLP Television. And
Very good.
Actually, what I want you to do, Johnny, is take as many copies of this as you can. Get this shit posted, because as soon as I know that everyone's got these and they're in their hands, I'm going to tell everybody what the mistake is. And I'm going to fuck their universe over hardcore, because you know what? I've been living in a tent for the last 6 weeks, and I'm not happy. Okay? I am just not happy right now, and I would never wish, still do not wish this upon anyone. They ripped my family apart. They ripped my life apart. They cost me everything in my universe that I thought was absolutely beautiful and dear. And it's not that I'm fighting to have it back. I'm just fighting to put it into balance, where justice and balance is returned, where maybe my children finally get to see the fact that I was right and that I was in truth. And Sue will see it as well. And
right. Well, you know what? Hey, Kate, let me interject for just a second. This is paramount to a freaking rape. What they're doing to the American masses and all the foreign masses under the IMF is paramount to a rape, without the kiss. And you know what? That's a violation of every fiber. Hey, because I know I've done some jail time under a trumped-up charge so that I couldn't bond out for 3 stinking days under a total outright lie. So, folks, they're making everybody victims. Well, we ain't going to be victims for much longer, because the crap is hitting the fan, and it's a good thing. So, this is time to move forward. This is going to be a catharsis. And you know what? When the masses really find out how they've been getting screwed their entire lives, yeah, well, it's all good. I'm coming in love and harmony. I'm on a different side of the fence now, because I have capacity and ability to take care of my shit in a whole different way. And it's not with this bond issue. It's not even dealing with the bond. So that's what we got to love the divine providence, brother. They brought me out of Mammon to the other side. I have my own nation state, and that's where the fun really begins for this. Anyways,
that's totally awesome. Don't mind me. I'm just I see the end of this now. And those that, there are a few people that are listening in right now that know full well of, thank you. Oh, that's fine. It'll be cold enough soon enough. Anyway, have also experienced the same things that I have. And I will tell you, the document, the first one that they mastered was presented with private bailiff, no less, in a safe. So don't tell me time jumping doesn't exist, because I got to tell you, when I notified all the parties on the Monday, on the Thursday, I was doing all the hard copies with a private bailiff to deliver them, and the document had been fixed. The scan. So the only way they could do that is by a time jump, to go back and fix it before it happened. So don't tell me this shit does happen, guys, because I know it does. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Like I say, you know what, Kate, the bottom line is this. For all the sheep that are asleep, it's time for your wake-up call. When are you going to wait till you become the next victim, folks? It's time to get off the dadgum slave plantation. And you have a choice. You have an option. And it's coming down and on a whole different level that they never expected. They're not going to play. Hey, you know what? We're not the ones coming at them. They've been coming at us hard, fast, and in succession, and the game is pretty much done. Because when I get done with tonight's call, people are going to have their minds right on a whole different plane, and I can prove everything I say. So, hey, the shit's coming out the elephant, folks, and they'll never be able to pack it back in. It's all good. Let's get back to, we get back and close out on Deatra, so she has got to take care of some other things so that I can get to the meat and potatoes of what I really want to cover.
I think Deatra's already went off to make supper. She muted. She tagged me. So carry on. We all got the message with Deatra, and there's that beautiful, gentle soul going in and pitbulling these guys. If she can do it, or better yet, if I can do it, and this is for all the guys out there, if I can do it, I'm half the man you are. Get on it. All right, so Pete, take her from there, and just let's get hardcore on this. And I do have one little scenario I want to bring up for everyone to have fun with. And I want them to go out looking for tickets in order to go and settle their accounts. This is time to make the cops understand that he who brings the charges pays for them. And I tell you right now, every cop that has to pay a fine because they got caught in what they were doing are going to be a whole lot less reluctant to go for treats for their masters once their ass is getting handed back to them with love, peace, and a condom.
Yep.
I'll leave it there. So go ahead, Peter. Knock yourself out.
Very good. Hey, Kate, you have that master document that I sent you with all the attachments somewhere stored that can be posted somewhere so people can get that so they have the actual follow the bouncing ball format I'm covering?
Not really, but what I have done, Peter, is I've made the documents available, and anyone can get a hold of me that's listening right now. I'm Katie Renee at live.ca. I will forward the email that Peter gave me. For those that are interested in it, it has all the attachments plus a few other things that I will send along with it that didn't come with that email that was given to me by Peter as well. Given Cynthia has put together a full package with everything in a zip file that I can transfer to anyone that wants it. So, Peter, don't worry about it. Just stay the course, and any questions they can come back to me on as well, because I'm going to be living this dream, and I'm going to be showing these people how to get the hell through Babylon like the pit bull Deatra was. So don't worry about it. You just carry the torch. I have your...
All right, very good. I got the con. All right, folks. It's just all about the money, just like Deatra says. So we're going to go into a concerted effort here to move you forward and basically follow the bouncing ball. I actually have the email, so if anybody needs the email, they can, as far as with the attachments and everything I'm covering here tonight, you can shoot me an email, get it through Kate, and I'm not going to put it on over the air because I don't like putting my emails on the air. So anyways, let's move forward on this. And this is, folks, this information's been known and out there for years. It's just that nobody's been paying attention. All the sheep have been asleep. But however, now that the pain has become so great, it's time for everybody to move forward on a different level. And this is the beauty. I don't know why I keep getting Skypes. Anyways, I try to ignore those. Let's move forward. Anyways, folks, it all starts with the bonds. Everything is about a bond. When they get you to court, this is how they start the game by getting you to answer up in the capacity of your fiction, the all caps name, and they're bonding you they're literally drafting you for performance. And at that point in time, you didn't know how you got hoodwinked, but every case is supposed to have a bond. Matter of fact, all cases are bondable. As a matter of fact, all DAs that bring the charge are the ones who are supposed to have their bond put up for the case. But what they do is they trick you into stepping into the venue and jurisdiction by answering up to the fiction name, so then they basically don't have to put their bond up for the case. They're going for, because they basically got your bond by drafting you for performance. And these are the words they use, because when you give an unencumbered signature, that's what gets the game going, because they can draft this stuff over to their corporate documents, those bid bond, performance bond, payment bonds. Then you got your Miller Reinsurance Act bonds, which is Standard Form 273, 274, 275. You've also got Standard Form 28, which is the surety bond. Folks, they got more paperwork than Carter's got pills, and they got a salvage bond and everything. I mean, they're having fun now. Anyways, let's move forward. I'm going to cover this sort of quickly, but folks, for any of you who are suffering with these issues, for those who have warrants, it's probably this is a time where I'm going to tell you, if you got an existing warrant and you try to go settle the account, they will bum rush you and they will throw you in the jug. So if you've got an existing warrant, and this is for my brothers and sisters stuck on the other side of the plantation, I'm on the other side. I'm no longer in Mammon, so I have capacity to operate in a whole different venue and light. So based upon that, this is only for those that are still stuck in Mammon. If you're already on the other side of the fence like I am, I don't have to mess with this garbage. But this is for all those. There's millions and millions of you who haven't stepped over, that don't know that you can step over to the other side and be free and unencumbered. Well, you're getting the message now. So this is where I'm coming from. So let's talk about this is the stuff you're not supposed to know, folks. So it's all about settling the account. You can remove the controversy before you go to court, but basically, if you've already been through the mix as far as they've already drafted you for performance, before that case goes to finality, you have the capacity to settle the account at any given time before it goes to so-called finality. They want to get a default judgment on you. Anyways, this is why you must not wait for the day of court to exercise this simple option. This process is strong as death, and it will work, but you got to pay attention to detail, and you don't go off haphazard or half-cocked. This catches basically those folks sort of a little on the flat-footed side, just like what Deatra did. And you want this thing brought to the party who brought the charges, whether it's the DA, the public pretender, whoever. The following documents are mandatory for you to bring to catch these folks. Pretty much, they don't never expect you to know about these documents, folks, and this is what we'll cover now. First of all, you definitely want to be asking for the CUSIP number because that's what starts this game. It's called the Committee on Uniform System Identification Process. You can pull it up on your computer in 30 seconds. It's called CUSIP, C-U-S-I-P. The next thing I want you to do is bring a copy, if you got a copy of your birth certificate bond, preferably the one with the red digits on the bond paper. I have one I can show people that I attached. Anyways, then it starts off, they have what's called a bid bond, performance bond, and a payment bond. That's Standard Form 24, Standard Form 25, and 25A. Also, there's 3 other sets of forms. Matter of fact, you can get all these documents and print them in PDF form. Folks, it's not the job for you to fill these things out. It's your job to bring these documents forward because they've already been filled out, and so now you have a reference point to share with the public pretender of what documents you need to have brought forward so you can settle the account. That's all you want to do, folks. You go in love and harmony. You want to settle the dadgum account. They don't want you to settle the account. They want to rape the estate, and it's all about the estate. And so they're using, through your private side exemption, which is the red digits on the back of the Social Security card, as well as your birth certificate bond. It all starts at the beginning. The birth certificate bond is what puts everything in play. So you take your birth certificate bond over there, tell them to endorse the damn back of that thing and settle the freaking account. Hey, that's all you want to do. That's not creating a controversy. Settling the account is not a controversy. What they're doing is creating the controversy by drafting you for performance in the first place. So if you got a bunch of headaches going on with your case, like I say, this is what I would do. I'm not telling anybody what they should do because, you know what, I don't give advice. And, hey, I'm a pit bull, so I don't mind going asking. Inquiring minds want to know. I want to know who's got the documents. So now bring them forward. You have the right at any given time before it goes to finality through the judge to settle the account. That's all you want to do. It's love and harmony. Hey, you want to give them some of these digits. You know, that's all they want. It's because there is no money of substance. It's all money of account. Anyways, let's have a little more fun. So I was telling you about the bid bond, performance bond, payment bond. You also got what's called bring a copy of the SF-273 Miller Act Performance Act bond. 274 is the Miller Act Performance Bond as another one. You have one's a performance bond, one's a bid bond, and then you have Standard Form 275. I know I'm going fast, but folks, it's all on the paper. You can pull it up. Anyways, this is where you get to have some fun. You need to bring all these documents with you and tell them you're ready to go to full settlement and closure of the account. These are the words. They know what you mean. They know what you're saying. And if they want to be a good concealer, tell them to get the freaking DA, get his happy ass out to the front desk because you're there to settle the account. You have the right and the capacity. So this is where you're not supposed to know what's going on how to settle the account. You're not bringing up jurisdiction at any time. You simply want to settle the bonds on the account. You ask them for the 6-digit CUSIP number and don't take no for an answer. They're not going to give it to you. I already know this. But you want to press the issue further because you don't want to leave the court that day till either they settle the freaking account or throw the damn case out. You know, it's their pick, their choice. They'll never settle the account. They want to draft you for performance and steal that signature, so don't put your signature on nothing. So they've been using it your entire life. You just didn't know it. So the only thing you want to do is ask them to settle the account in full is all you want to do. This is not traversing or creating a controversy. Tell them you want to settle the bonds at case number, which is the case number they started you with the party that brought the charges. He who brings the charges, usually the DA for the state, pays the bill. Matter of fact, every case is supposed to be bonded by the DA who brought the charge. Like most people don't know this, so matter of fact, you can go to the risk management office and go have his bonds pulled up. It's supposed to be attached to his oath of office. This is the stuff nobody knows, folks. So you move on. Do not take no for an answer. If they play stupid like a concealer, show them what you're talking about. That's why I told you you got to make copies of all these documents. Hey, line them all up on the counters. Hey, this is what I'm talking about. Hey, just in case you needed clarity, here's a document. You don't fill these suckers out. Let them scumbags fill them out. Matter of fact, they're already filled out. They're sitting in the back room. They got the game already started. So it's all good. You don't have to fill out nothing. You just tell them to bring them forward so you can settle the account. Anyways, make sure you tell them you want that custom number so that you can go to full settlement and closure of the bonds on the case number, and that's what ties to the case. Tell them that you brought your birth certificate bond to settle the account. Tell them to endorse the back, the birth certificate bond, so you can settle the account. These people will not know really whether to poop or wind their wristwatch after you ask them for these documents, and they're going to be looking for cover. And sort of like what happened with Deatra. She put them in a box, and they knew she knew. And they're basically, folks, you have to stand fast, grow a spine, and follow these instructions. They'll want to disappear your case in most cases. This is the stuff you are never supposed to find out. You have literally caught them with their hands in the proverbial cookie jar. It is really all about the money. They told Deatra straight up, I couldn't believe that the DA or that public pretender came off the dime and told her it was just about the money. Well, folks, when you run somebody's life ragged under the guise of it's just about the money and you're you're threatening to steal their kids and do this and do that, it wasn't even it doesn't matter that it was a bogus charge. You can't prove a negative. So, folks, this is why you got to settle the account. And as long as you're not having a warrant out for your butt, if you got a warrant and that warrant's in play, you definitely don't want to go walking in trying to settle the account because they'll put you in the jug because they already got a dishonor on you if it's a failure to appear. For those folks, you need to settle your stuff the old-fashioned way. If it's a warrant, sorry to say that, but you're still stuck on the mammon side of the house until you get off. Anyways, we do show people how to get to the other side if they choose to. So the objective here is you don't want to go to war with them. You just want to settle the account. If you really want to take this to the next level, tell them that they're not willing to stay in honor and settle the account. Then you ask the DA or whoever brought the charges, which is usually the DA, that you need the name of the underwriter of his bond held by the risk management department, and they're usually in the same building. Every county has a risk management department, and you can go look it up in your own county. They're all usually working in the same building, pulling the same scam together. It's just one big paper mill. And this is what I was covering earlier. Technically, every case is supposed to be bonded by the one who brought the charge. So that's why I'm telling you, if you want to give, and find out where the DA's bond is, I'm pretty sure about 98% of them are working without a net. In other words, they don't even have a valid bond in the county that they're working. So in essence, they provided a falsity by bringing the case forward without producing their own bond to bond the case, because that's what they're supposed to do. You can look this up, folks. I mean, I'm not making none of this up. You can find out, but you got to do a little homework. Anyways, so they usually what has usually happened is when they got you into court the first time to start the case, you answered up to the fiction slave name in all caps, and that allowed them to use your bond, so then they didn't have to use his bond or the DA's bond. So in essence, by you answering up to the charge, you traversed into answering up to the charge, creating the controversy from the beginning, and then they let some judge appoint you some mouthpiece called a public pretender, thereby completing the loop for them to make you a ward of the court as being incompetent to handle your own matters forthwith. This is why you must go settle the account before it goes to the judge. Once they get you in the mix, if you're already in, you have the right to go settle the account before it goes to finality with this judge. So if you have the right to settle it at any time before it goes to the judge. This process can be used by anyone who has not come over to the Divine Province. If you're still living in slave land, obviously you know if you were in the Divine Province already. So if you're not, we don't use this process. Anyways, if you're tired of them running you around the mulberry bush, then go settle the account, folks. If you don't want to see the concealers run, if you want to see the concealers run for cover like cockroaches in the light, then go settle the account. For those already in the Divine Province, we have the capacity to settle the account in private. So this is only for those who are still stuck on the plantation. Anyways, feel free to give the DA a copy of the birth certificate securitization scam, which can be found on suijuris.me. It's a downloadable document in Step 3. It's the last document. And you might want to give a copy of that, print it. It's 14 pages. So the DA really knows you know about the hypothecation of the birth certificate bond and everything that goes along with it. This is the stuff that we're not supposed to know, folks. So, yeah, you know what? Let's bring the truth to the light. That's what this is all about, bringing the truth. They are concealers. They are bottom feeders. They have no souls. So, you know what, folks? This ain't warring. This is going in love and harmony. Just settle the account. You have capacity. You have ability. Anyways, Kate, based on that, I'm a happy camper. I'm fat, happy, and sassy, and step right in if you choose to.
Oh, I'm just enjoying the ride here. For those that have already received the photograph of the document that's going to bring the whole house of cards down, a lot of people out there actually, I'll point out one of the errors anyway, kind of a critical one. For those out there, and keep it to yourself, but for those out there, what's birthday? And you might actually start understanding what the hell I'm talking about. Anyway, oh, by the way, I should mention that I was born on the anniversary of Magna Carta when it was signed. So there was a very particular, non-coincidental reason why I had to know that and why it is so absolutely powerful this instant. Something that I do want to bring across with regards to the time travel aspects of jumping back and fixing things, now it is an impossibility for them. Enjoy this night, guys, because I do want to bring a few things to the fore in peace, love, truth, and harmony. I'd like to thank Allied Van Lines for anyone that's ever thinking of using them again. They were part and parcel of raping my home, destroying a lot of my personal stuff, made an absolute shambles of many things broken, etc., by their rookie goons. And of course, they charged us over $2,400 to first steal my stuff from my home, and then keep it for ransom in a holding depot down in London, which was set up by the management company that took over handling the theft of my home, which was set up by a KRMC law firm out of Newmarket, Ontario. There's an office in Toronto as well. And every one of the lawyers, liars, whatever you want to call them, were notified and were privy to all the information, the emails, and I've sent out hundreds. For anyone that knows me and my emails, my email list ranges from the Vatican on down to the local Attorney General's office, to the newspapers and all the rest of it. So it's not like I kept any of this hidden, and I know that there are those that are specifically in place to keep an eye on me and to keep listening in. I know they're already scrambling, and this is the joy I feel, and that's why the energies are starting to lift right now. So Allied Van Lines is a criminal organization that aids and abets law firms and the Guelph Police Services. By the way, I should mention that Robert Davis, the former chief, was relieved of duty. They say he resigned, but he was relieved of duty 2 weeks into my unlawful 28-day solitary confinement, basically rape and torture of my soul. So that one was how I knew that I had made a difference in that they relieved him of his command only because his own ego kept him coming at me, which kept me looking deeper and deeper. So he brought this upon himself, and he is one of the beings that is bringing the whole house of cards down. So he is of the lowest low in terms of failure with trying to hold the line of deception that has now been more than uncovered. It is time for us, the people, to stand in absolute peace, truth, love, and harmony. I love the harmony aspect, being a musician. Also, so we had the KRMC law firm that was complicit. We also have the Wellington County courts that were well and truly notified of all things that were happening. The sheriff of Guelph, I can't remember her name, for illegally and unlawfully trespassing on my land and being part and parcel to the theft. All of the police officers, including the probably 15 or more, I lost count. I think it was around 15 cars. But anyway, all the cops just decided to pull the hair out of my head, rip me to the ground, step on my throat, nearly break my wrist, and what have you, for daring to stand in truth. And every one of them, I will be going after all of the QSIP numbers and their bond numbers, and they shall be held accountable. But it won't be me doing it, because I am not one for vengeance. I am merely one requesting the public servants do their duty as they to do it, lest they have to fall in the same category. So yeah, it is about peace and love. And where you might hear vengeance on my voice, it's not. What this is about resonating finally the truth that we all knew was there, and finally showing a way at which we can get through and show people to not be afraid anymore, to stand. And it's not that hard. And I will tell you, I've been terrified of myself my whole life. I have lived in such a cowl of fear my whole life, hiding in plain sight for the being that I am. And I know none of you, well, there's actually one, Karina Moon, that will actually grasp what it is I am speaking of. When you walk a lifetime in the shadow of yourself, then you'll understand what it is I'm speaking of. And when you've been in prison your entire life, in this silly little realm, this kindergarten of humanity that needs to wake up, then you might get an understanding of it. From there, Peter, it's as simple as people just standing. And what people needed, and those that are listening are awake enough because they are listening. What they needed was, obviously, their ego needed some proof as to what things are without taking that leap of truth. Never mind the faith. The only faith I have is if I step off a cliff, I know I'm going to fall. And every time I made a step in this walk that I've taken, I knew the mines were there, but I also knew that even if I stood on one, I would heal. And I would be most grateful to those that have, on an ongoing basis, and I will be very blunt about this, on an ongoing basis, that have, by omission or commission, beat me to the ground with a baseball bat while I tried to get up from my knees. That is something I would never do. And even now, all I can hope for, all I can wish for, is that people come to terms with themselves, that they understand their role in their own game, that there is no savior coming to save them. I've had to save myself. And in that process, hopefully shown a few others how to do it for themselves. That my ham is not long enough to drag people around. That I am at a point where I will stand, but I don't need the encumbrances of others clinging. I will offer the help that I can, and I will be there, and I will give people that which I can give them. One of the things, I know you go through this a lot, Peter, with regards to people asking questions all the time, and I know you're running ragged and whatever. What I'm asking people to do is start doing their own due diligence. That yes, the answers are there, but what you need to do is you need to seek them yourself. You need to spend the time to look at these things, to finally grasp them, because that is your awakening. Being given a fish to eat only satisfies your hunger for that instant. What we're trying to do is give you the fishing rod and the line and the lures and the proper techniques to go fishing for yourself. And we will show you the best waters to fish in, where you, as the fisherman, may also help feed others and in that process teach them how to fish as well. This is not about follow the leader, because everyone is a leader. Do not look to me for a leader. Do not look to me for advice. Do not look to Peter for either. That's the way it works. If you're doing that, if you're looking to another to solve your issues, to solve your problems, you are still in system think, system speak, system do. And quite frankly, I haven't got time of day for you anymore. I don't. Because that mentality and those that have had that mentality around me have fed on me long enough. And I have written an essay. I'll probably bring it up on Friday. I haven't finished it yet. But it is all about conservation of energy. And I am tired, sick, sore, and tired of feeling that, I can't even put this in words anymore. I'm going to save it for the essay. But what people need to understand is I don't help people to get something out of it. What I do is I help people to give something out of it. Because in the process of my helping another, it helps me. So there is the return, but the gift is first. Not the gimme, then I'll see about helping you. This is about, I'm going to help you. What you do from there is your call. But as I
Very
said,
good, Kate.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what I said one of my previous... Go ahead. I'll shut up now.
No, this is excellent. I couldn't have said it better. When you came to me on Monday and said, Peter, can you put this in a format that I can understand? I said yes. I said, you know what? I've been meaning to do that. After further thinking, and Deatra telling me what she had done a little bit, and I said, all the tools are in front of us for everybody to use. I've given everybody the tools. It's up to you to internalize the information and go in. But you better have your crap together, folks. You better be wound a little tight, because if you aren't, they're going to eat your stinking lunch. So for those who want me to rescue them, fix them, save them, that's not my job. I don't have the capacity. Only you have the capacity to save yourself. This information is presented for entertainment value only, so I want to clarify that. So I ain't telling nobody to do nothing. But when you get sick and tired of being pounded on like the slave you really are, you know what? When the pain becomes so great and you have to make a decision, then you'll get your head out of your backside and move forward and say, I got to dig in. I've given you the information. You got to take it, internalize it. I can't do it for you. I'm not a babysitter. I'm not a fixer. I don't have a magic wand. I'm just Peter. I've covered this stuff over years and years ago. I uncovered this, but I didn't have the spine to apply it myself even, because I wasn't, competent to handle my own matters forthwith. But I sure as hell am now. But the upside is, hey, I never even got to use this, and I don't have to because I'm on the other side of the fence. But for those of you who are still stuck in Mammon, this is an incredible, mind-blowing, mind-opening, powerful tool because until we bring this forward on a different level, folks, this is not fighting. Until we shed the light on the truth, the cockroaches won't scamper. So when you bring the light forward, they start running for cover because they know they're up to no good. They got black hearts. These people are black as the ace of spades. But you know what? I don't feed that negative energy to them. You know what? They are not worthy of me feeding that energy to. I don't have to because I know who I am. So, folks, you got to, in life, what comes down when you get sick and tired of somebody crapping on your friggin' doorstep, you know what? You're going to take an action. So that's what they're doing. They're crapping on everybody's doorstep. And this has gone to the other side of the extreme, the insanity. And it's a sanity land, and I see the pain. I see the hurt. I wish I could fix it all with a magic wand, but I don't have the capacity. But I do have the capacity to broach the information in a digestible format that will give you total clarity if you'll dig in. But if you won't dig in, then you know what? Lick the wounds from your masters, go into cognitive dissonance, shut your brain down, and go back to sleep because you ain't done yet. You got to have some more pain, and they're going to bring the pain. So, folks, you know what? Only you can stand up for you and to internalize this information and release this. We are going forward in harmony and love. We ain't going after them, and we're not warring. So we got to change our paradigm, change our mindset. This is not warring. You have the capacity to move forward and settle the dadgum account. That's all we're doing. And you know what? So what? They got their sorry ass caught with their hands in the cookie jar. You know what? If it hurts their little feelings, too bad, so sad. You know what? If they keep stealing the cookies out of your cookie jar, then you got to broach the issue. When you get sick and tired of having the arbitrary third hand screw you as far as taking money out of your back pocket, you're going to say, you know what? This ain't working for me. You know what? I have a capacity and ability to move this forward on a different level, and you got to grow a spine, be a little pit bull, but you don't have to go in mean. Folks, Deatra didn't go in mean. She just stood her ground. She stood firm. That's the perfect resolution that she created for herself with a 25-minute phone call with me, and I didn't give her meat and potatoes like you're getting now. She wasn't getting half of it. She didn't even get the good stuff. She didn't even know about the dadgum DA's bond up there in the Financial Risk Management Office that you can go attach to, because then it gets really fun. Matter of fact, yeah, everybody should be going to get a copy of the DA who brought the charges against you folks. Yeah, go get the dadgum bond, and if they're flying without a net, it's going to be a Lucy moment for somebody's ass. So anyways, what do you think about that, Kate?
No, that's exactly it. Really, what it is now it's a game. Now the playing field has been leveled, where you have some of the tools that they've been using against you to play ball with them. And I want to bring a lot of the personal side into this, because I lived every moment of what I lived. And what I want people to do right now that are listening is I want you to imagine, just for a minute, what it feels like to take one of your children to a birthday party, to come home to be tailed all the way there and all the way back, and then corralled by 3 private vehicles by armed thugs, and then get forcibly removed from your car at gunpoint, handcuffed, in front of your house, no less, where they had pulled in and blocked my driveway so I couldn't get back onto my land. And then 2 hours later, show up with a full SWAT team, smash the door in with one of their door rams.
Rammers.
Where Sue, my youngest daughter, were baking in the kitchen, and to run in there and imagine how they felt being. Sue got cuffed, and of course they were both put to the ground with these guys in full SWAT riot gear with shotguns loaded, slug rounds, shoot to kill, not shoot to wound, shoot to kill, and 9mm penis extensions drawn, again with full lead rounds designed to kill, not wound. That's why they carry them. They have no regard for human life whatsoever. Now, 2 hours, I'm being held against my will in an ice-cold cell, shivering on a very cold February 11th night. And they released me, still trying to force some piece of paper down my throat, which I told them, no thanks, I have no contracts with you. And then at about it was 3:15 when they let me go, 15 minutes after Sue had just left the police station. So any means of transportation on a minus 25-degree February night was removed, and I walked 9 kilometers, I guess about 6 miles or so, in that with very light clothing, because I wasn't dressed. I was dressed for driving, not for hiking. And we found an open coffee shop, and a friend from Hamilton, my bailiff friend, by the way, who came all the way from Hamilton to pick me up and to hook up with Sue again. And then 2 weeks later, I'm bringing this to a whole new level. 2 weeks later, knowing full well what I was up against, but I knew I was right, and I knew all the wrongs that had been transgressed against me, including the time jumps and all the rest of it. I could not stand and not do something, knowing full well, going back to my home, that was where I was living, to go back there and make my stand, only knowing full well the repercussions of it, that I knew I was going to be attacked yet again. And of course, from that, spending 28 days in solitary with a few of those days in a cell next to a guy that had just murdered a 12-year-old. Now, if you can imagine me, the empath, and what I was enduring in that place, with all the hate around me, feeding on me. And I got to tell you, it was not an easy situation. to the point where I finally got out. And the last time I was up in front of one of their magician criminals, I was not allowed to speak, and it was only because I had put so much on the record they didn't want me saying anymore, and they just wanted rid of me. And that was, I'd already spent 7 trips into the courthouse, and on one occasion almost having my back broken because some cop, I was the only one traveling in the back of one of their vehicles, all solid stainless steel, no less. No, we're not talking shock absorbers here, and it's deliberate. They do that deliberate to grind the shit out of you. And he went over a bump, and I literally hit the ceiling and came down on my spine, and he actually pulled over to see if I was okay. This is the kind of shit that I went through. And I don't want anyone to go through this. This is what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to convey this to you. I'm trying to tell you that the price was paid if you just listen and stand. You don't have to do anything other than just stand. We've already broken the roads open. We just need you to do something. We just need you to actually be who and what you are. Take control of your own helm instead of waiting for someone like Peter or myself or someone else to come over and say, I'll hold your hand, I'll make sure your strings are on your mittens. Get your life together. I have to ask everyone listening right now, and everyone that has been involved in my life, what exactly did you do to survive before you met me? That you must cling to me now. I'm on my knees here, people. That's all I'm asking. Just stand. And I have to do a shout out for everyone that put into the fund to help get a place secured. The appreciation and gratitude will return to you 1,000-fold. And I cannot even express the gratitude that I have. And the day that Peter and I were on the Monday, what we were trying to express is that same gratitude where some people took it the wrong way. No, it is always the same oarsmen. It is always the same ones that have suffered the same things that we have, that are the ones putting forth, whereas it is the others that are gluttonous with their fucking deck chairs that are climbing aboard our boat, demanding that we row faster, as if I can. I am bleeding from every pore here, Peter, so are many of us. Will you please stand? We have given you the truth. Will you just use it? Stop crying. Stop coming to us going, what do I do now? Just do it. It's not rocket science. It is so simple. I'm a musician, for crying out loud. I can figure it out. Holy mackerel. I mean, come on, guys. And there are many of you listening right now that have been through a lot, and I know that. And we want to end that. We want to end that suffering because it's going to be your choice to end it. That's why you're listening to us right now. This is not throwing out energy at you to say, you're not doing things right. No, you are. What we're asking you to do is to step even further, come up with us. We've already blazed the trail. Would you just stand? Lose the fear. Get in gear. There's nothing to fear. Death is the illusion. There is no death. You are an infinite God, for crying out loud. And until you wake up and smell that coffee, you're going to drown in it. I'm tired of seeing people drown. I've thrown life preserver after life preserver. I have rescued more people from more situations than I care to count. And still they look to me. Stop it. I can't do it anymore. You're actually killing me doing it. When people take from me or take Peter or those of us that are moving, trying to get this going, you are taking from all. Not just me. I'm trying to serve all. At what point do you get first in the line here? At what point do you feel that I'm responsible for your existence? We have the truth, and we will share everything we have. We already have, and it has cost us dearly. Please stop costing us more. Just walk. It's not hard. I mean, we're up here planting roses while you guys are stopping smelling them. It's just time to start helping us plant some. It's a beautiful garden. Oh my God, you should see it. Besides, we're already in the Emerald City. I can already see it. The poppy fields have many sleeping. But the hard, cold truth, just like the frost that came in to wake Dorothy and the crew, is now upon you. And you will either stand or you will, better yet, you will either swim or you will sink. And I have to be very blunt and very honest. I don't care either way anymore. You will choose what you will choose, and I will love you for both either sinking or swimming. I cannot do any less than that. That is your choice, and I
Yep.
will love you for every choice you make. Is that fair? I think that's fair. Peter?
That's real fair. Like I say, well, it comes down to making a choice. Hey, well, you know, God gave everybody free will. Go figure. Yeah, well, if you choose to make no choice, it's still making a choice, folks. That's what it comes down to. This is your life. It ain't my life. Hey, my life is my life. It's all good. And, you know, everybody can take charge of their life. The problem is everybody has laid the responsibility on everybody's doorsteps, from the medical profession to the lawyer profession to the work profession. Everybody's supposed to, oh, yeah, well, what, I need direction. What do I do next? You know, it's time to get off our butts, folks, literally, and take charge of our own destiny. We are all infinite. We are all commonly binded up via the divine spirit. We're all one. We literally are all one. The problem is we sat down and laid down and let this crap happen. So if you don't like the scenario, you don't like the crap pies they're feeding you with the bacon, well, hey, it's time to get off the dadgum slave plantation. Everybody has an option. So, you know, it's funny, you know, I put forth options, and most people won't exercise any option. So failure to choose, to, like I say, to make a choice is still making a choice. If you're going to suffer through the Stockholm syndrome, this whole scam that's been perpetrated is like one big dysfunctional family, and we're making excuses for Grandpa beating us down. Well, hey, folks, if you don't like, you know what? Everybody deserves to be treated with a love, harmony, and you know, a common courtesy. And these folks don't know those things. They have been operating in nefarious acts. They're operating in black, deep, dark places. You know, I thank God that I'm not the one who has to go home and look at myself in the mirror and do these. And these are victim crimes. There are lots of victims. However, we can choose to remove ourselves from continuing to be the victims, but we have to take an action. Everything starts with an action, and it has an equal and opposite reaction. We're not going in war. We're going in harmony, folks, and so everybody's got to really start getting their minds right. It comes down to us. So, you know, as a collective group, we, you know, united we stand, divided we fall. And they've divided us over the race crap, all over the political crap, and it's all just smoke and mirrors, folks. It's all smoke screens. Everything that you've been fed from the propaganda machine, and it's going to be hard to erase. I'm 52 years old. It's hard to erase 52 years of BS. But you know what? I quit looking at the BS of over 25 years ago when I had an epiphany in my head and saying, you know what? This doesn't fit. Something's wrong with this picture. And that's when the brain started looking for the truth. And then all of a sudden I find more truth. I've been working on it for 25 years. I got a beautiful wife, and I made her happy years bleed for the last 28 years since I've been looking for the truth. And I say, why do I keep learning this? Why do I know all this? I got all this, and I consider it for a moment all this useless information. But you know what? It's extremely useful now because you know what? I really get it because I got to tie in all the loose ends, and I actually was able to finish this dadgum puzzle. And I'm still working on the puzzle because it keeps expanding. But you know what? You got to look beyond the pale. You've got to look beyond the horizon because all the truth lays directly right in front of your face if you'll open your eyes. My children will have eyes and will not see. They will have ears and not hear. I mean, the dumbing down upon us has just overwhelmed me on so many different levels, and I'm just doing an administrative process for people, and I effectively see the complete and utter disassembling of the mindset of the masses. We're operating in clicker land, and I call it clicker land because people have the attention span of about 3 minutes, and they'll read a paragraph, and they can't go no further. That's a sad state of affairs when you can't get your mind right to read through 10 pages of documents in one sitting because your mind can't friggin' focus because you've been operating in the clicker society. They've done an excellent job of diverting us from the truth. Well, folks, hey, the truth's here with both barrels. You can have it. I'm going to give it to you. If you want it, it's yours for free. I mean, I ain't asking for you to send me nothing. I don't want nothing from nobody because it's all yours for free. But you know what? It ain't my job to read the information and get you to internalize it. It's your job. I can only bring it forward to you. And now once you have that information in your hands, it's up to you to start your education, because the education starts now. And everybody's has been complicit in operating in a false paradigm and in a false action to take an action on their own behalf. Hey, I can't do it for you. You can do it for yourself. I promise you, this works. This is effective. But it comes down to that you got to have enough chutzpah and a backbone to say, you know what? I'm sick and tired of this false paradigm. I want to change it. And it starts from within. And when it starts from within, then you become who you were born to be. Not this crazy insanity, this meism, this narcissistic society having us infighting with each other on all these different levels. I mean, there's no love. Where's the harmony? I mean, folks, this is what it comes down to. It's about love and harmony, not hate and discontent. That's what they do. We can't meet that with more hate and discontent. We could just rectify the situation as best we can and go in harmony and basically try and right the ship. No pun intended, by the way. I hate using Admiralty vernacular, but I was in the Navy for 10 years, and I understand it very well. And the objective here is to plunder your ship. And if you're a citizen, you're on the freaking ship. Well, you can get off the ship anytime you want. Otherwise, they're going to torpedo your ass, and they're really good at doing it. They've been doing this for thousands of years, folks. There's nothing new in Rome. This crap's been going down for years. Well, you got to open your mind and open your heart and move to the next level. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, it all starts with you. But you better make a choice, because if you make the wrong choice, your masters will be glad to bring forward your so-called non-Rebbe on a level unparalleled to any other. Anyways, Kate, with that I rest.
Okay, and I'm glad you actually rested on that, because one of the things that you said about ship, people need to really grasp, and it will open their eyes to a lot of things. Keep in mind how where I stand in terms of my observations. I stand strictly solely in the ethereal, and I'm looking at things from a slightly different perspective. In that regard, ship is actually means, in ancient etymology, it means mind, as in your mind. So it'll give you a better idea as to why everything is all about ships and why the Egyptians used ships, because the reference, and it comes out of Gemini, no less, my mind, this ancient etymology of what a ship is, just like the name, when you're asked about what your name is, what they're asking you is literally ancient etymology for name is way. They're asking you, what is your way? What is your purpose? And when you are system speak, you were telling them what your purpose is, and that's why they have to claim that. And I want to go a couple of steps further here with regards to what you had just said. And people really need to wake up. And I will say this to those that are listening right now and those that will listen to this show. You have no idea how absolutely coincidentally lucky you are for having tuned in and are going to get some resonance from what you're hearing right now, because you know what we are speaking of is truth, and that's all we are here to share. And a little something else that I want to do to bring it into a whole new realm, and this is for all those out there that have walked around gay bashing and calling someone a dyke or a faggot or a tranny or whatever. Let me rest assure you in this one concept, the truth and what I have revealed over the last number of years and what I have done, what I have given to you, came from a tranny. And I need you to get that. And I love having talks with you, Peter, because you don't know whether to call me brother, sister, piss, shit, or wind your
Hell yeah, you got me all confused, Kate, but it's all good. I love you anyways. It's all good because we're all one.
It's all good, you know. That's the thing. When people finally start to wake up and see things for what they are, not for what you've been taught to believe. I mean, the church is the first one that's going to tell you that homosexuality is evil, and you don't talk about Jesus' favorite friend, that used to sit in the restaurant with head on his shoulder and stuff like that. And they don't tell you about that. And they don't tell you that King James, the guy that actually authorized their version of the Bible, was a raging, beautiful homosexual. And Michelangelo was, so was Leonardo da Vinci. The whole thing, what people need to get is they got to let go of the paradigms. And the gift that we, of the in-betweens, doesn't matter to us either way. Those that have the gift of the in-between can see the balance of the energies of electromagnetism only. It's got nothing to do with male-female. That is the paradigm that has been run down your throat by churches and governments and schools and all the rest of it to keep us divine dead and conquered. There was something else I wanted.
Okay, let me interject. I love your words. When you speak of words, like your WHIRREDS on words, because, folks, they've hidden it in plain sight. It's all about the freaking words. My God. So, folks, I got a background in AC refrigeration. Take a look at what goes on in court. You got charge. You got discharge. You go to ground. They're using euphemisms of electricity because we all are electronic in nature. We have what's called a sinoatrial node. That's what makes your heart tick. And they are looking to go to you need to go to ground. That's a good thing. Everything that comes out of the ground is good. Gold, silver, food, crops.
Hey, Peter, are you ready for an epiphany? I need you to hear this, then you can keep going. That's why everything centered. That is why everything now is centered in Washington. Direct current.
There you go, DC, folks. Yeah, the analogies are straight up in your face. When they bring the charge, they're looking to go to discharge. Well, they want to get that slave to come onto the citizenship so that we can get a discharge. Folks, they're hiding it. Yeah, look at what they call our money, currency. Current is what runs through the lines. It runs through your veins. You are an electromagnetic organism on the earth. And if we didn't have the electromagnetic flow, you would cease to function because your sinoatrial node that sits in your heart, that's your little ticker, then you would just go to dead zone. You'd be toast. You'd be in the boneyard. So, folks, they're hiding all this stuff. If you start when I start reading all these words, I really start getting this on a whole different level. So, you got to read between the lines. They always say, yeah, it's all between the lines. Yeah, you got your power lines, your water lines. All this comes back to ground, your ground, and they're stealing your energy. You are the source. It starts with you. I mean, it's incredible when you start putting all this stuff together. It's a 2 + 2 = 4 equation. Everything is. But we got to open up our eyes wide enough to actually take a look at it and condense the information. I mean, I'm learning new stuff every day because I got my eyes wide open, folks, and that's where it starts. And you'll have total clarity. You'll get your epiphanies like Kate and I, and it will all fit and it will all ring true, and then you'll know how to operate in the you.
Yeah, and I just want to I'm in the chat room right now, and one of the things that I do want to bring across, since I've brought up King James and the fact that he was a flamin' hoop of flamin' hoops, I'm going to tell you this, and this is one of the things that people are going to need to understand. They're going to need to understand it quickly. Anyone listening right now will owe your freedom and knowledge to a fag, and you need to get over that, because what King James did, when he gave his authorized version of the Bible, he made sure that it was absolutely intact translation from the Greek. He made sure that the truth was there for us to read it in the mystical sense. And if you want to find out more about that, go and look up Bill Donahue, or get on my Facebook connections, kate.rene.5. That's KATE.RENE.5. I post every video that Bill puts up, and he did his work back in the late 80s and the middle 90s, and he's still at it right now. But what he's doing is he's putting all his videos up in a beautiful codified manner where people may not actually see the trend that he is doing. I can see it. I got an email from him today, and I'm looking forward to having a chat with him finally. I might even be able to get him on the air, and I'd love to have him on here. But one of the things that I've been conveying to him, and I know that it has piqued his interest, is because what I have done on my end of things, my particular role in this game was to decipher the language, the tongue pledge. And I've done that. I've deciphered the matrix. I know how the English angle or angel-ish language works. I know the power of the lowercase. I know the power of the uppercase. And I know why. And it has got nothing to do with what most people would think of. The simple fact is every symbol, every letter, every number, everything that was ever done in terms of writing was created from the flower of life. Oh, sorry, you pronounce it flower. I pronounce it flower. Just like grower, flower. I don't say grower. It doesn't rhyme. It rhymes with flower, but it doesn't make sense. But again, it's a matter of how you see and, not or, it's how you see and hear things. And you need to bring that shit into the now, period. Like when people talk to me, you have no idea what I am hearing, and most people have no idea what they're actually saying. The stuff that I'm picking up on is of a completely different layer, of a completely different level. But the joy of this is the assumption, or the assumpsit of the la, the note, has been removed. It is no longer, you cannot copyright creation. I'm sorry, that belongs to you and me. You can't do that. That's not okay. That's against the entire cosmic law of the universe. So for me, that was my biggest epiphany, and my biggest, in terms of my biggest victory, was finally coming to terms with that and exposing it. That's why their words haven't got the power they used to, because they've been dispelled. Simply because we know that they've tried to claim it as their own, and they cannot, because they used our pattern, our creation. Not allowed. Hey, show me the contract, And Peter, I want you to talk a bit more about. Just one more thing on the fag tranny thing. You know what, guys? Next time you see one of us flamers, maybe shake our hand or give us a hug, and realize that the truth that is being brought to you right now, from me anyway, has been brought to you by a transgendered individual, a two-spirit tranny dyke that is trying to show you love from the most fearful position I had to come from. And I made it through. I got here. And now I can talk to you. Now I can tell you exactly where the truth comes from. And I'm only hoping that you can hear that. So, next time that you're out and about and you see someone that looks like they shouldn't be in a dress, or someone that shouldn't be wearing the guy clothes they're wearing, maybe walk up to them instead of spitting on them and calling them names. Maybe walk up to them and say, hey, thanks. It was one of your kind that woke me up. And that's all we're here to do. Yep. And maybe if I can alleviate some of that pressure for my kindred, that would be something worthwhile to make a difference for me. And I'm not talking about me. I can stand on my own. I got my high boots on. Come on, bring it on, bitch, and I'll kick you right where it counts. But I'm talking about those that are still in absolute fear and terror of themselves. Show a little compassion, because we were the lucky ones. We were the ones born in between. We were the ones that actually see this. And go figure, I'm a Gemini. I'm just a natural. Go figure. Anyway, Peter, we have 18 minutes left, and I just want you to let rip, because, man, I just love when you get going. Go.
Oh, yeah, I'm a wild one. Well, hell, I'm just going to cover one paragraph in this 5-page document put out by Brother Gene that really puts this thing in perspective, and everybody can get access to this 5-page document. It's in a PDF. I think that matter of fact, it's already posted in the Skype with Kate's. This guy was covering this. He says he wanted to start off by saying that to win in court, you have to know what goes on in court. Well, he's dead nuts right. What goes on in the courtrooms goes back to Edward I. It's called the statute merchant, and what is called a bond of merchant or a bond of record. The statutes themselves are the bond. And what they do is they duplicate these statutes that they charge you under with what they call a recognizance bond. Go figure. And then people sign that recognizance bond, give their signature, without reading what the dadgum bond says. Anyways, he brought this to a buddy's attention. He says when he signed the bond, it says that you agree to pay back the debt when you sign these bonds, folks. When you go into court on a criminal charge, it's civil. It's always civil, not criminal. There's a book out there called The Jurisdiction and Practice of the Law of Admiralty by John E. Hall, and it's based on the clerk's practice. I actually have a copy of this, folks, for anybody who wants it. The clerk's practice was a clerk of the Court of Registrar of the Court of Arches under the King's Bench. The Court of Arches is a court of probate. Folks, they're probating your estate. We've been saying it's the estate now for the last 6 months over on our side of the fence, but nobody wants to see the truth. I mean, folks, it's in your face. The Court of Arches is a court of probate, and he's the one who wrote this book, and this book was never intended for public viewing, but I got a copy for everybody and their brother who wants it for free. Anyways, we're going to try. He said he was going to try and get the reprint. No need for a reprint, folks. I can get you downloading a PDF. I said it's time for the wake-up call. You get it for free. You can't beat the price. Anyways, if you really want to understand how the Admiralty works, this is the book you need to read. And the reason being, read the case of Rearing versus Clark. It talks about the clerk's practice. They're in there, and they used it in the Vice Admiralty courts. Admiralty, go figure, we're all underwater. And in the colonies during the American Revolution, folks. This has been going on forever. What they're doing is all about the bonds. So when you go into the courtroom after you're arrested, they use 2 sets of bonds. And I've covered that. I got it in the PDF attachments on all that. So what they do is when you're arrested, they fill out a bid bond. The United States District Court uses 273, 274, and 275. That's the Miller Reinsurance bonds. Standard form means, SF means standard form, and standard form 273, 74, and 75, this is the United States District Court. There's another set of bonds, and they're all put out by the GSA. Folks, you don't have to learn how to fill these out. You just want to bring them to their attention when you go to say you're ready to settle the account. They've already got them filled out for you. Anyways, the GSA, I'm just talking off the top of my head. I have a lot of this stuff memorized. Anyways, it's a bid bond, and everybody should have a copy of the bid bond, the performance bond, and the payment bond, and it's downloadable by the government forms. That page is on there as well. Anyways, the GSA is under the Comptroller of Currency, which is under the GAO. Folks, you don't have to really get this because it's all readable. You'll get a copy if you want a copy. You'll be able to get this. But I'm just trying to give you a basic overview. I says what they're doing with these bonds when they go in the courtroom is that they're suing you for a debt collection. What it is an action of assumptive. The word presume comes from the word assumptive, which means I agree or presume to do. An act of assumptive, which means I agree to a collection of a debt. If you look at these bonds, every one of these bonds, bid bond, performance bond, payment bond, they all have a penal sum attached to it. The reason for the penal sum is if you go into default, and if you don't pay the debt, you go into default judgment. This is what's going on in the courtrooms. This is why all these guys are sitting in prison wondering what's going on. If you go in there and argue jurisdiction, in what he's saying about honor and dishonor, if you go in and argue jurisdiction or refuse to answer the question the judge or the court addresses to you, they will find you in contempt of court and they'll put you in jail. And if you read the clerk's practice, that's all they talk about is contempt. But all they know is how to do tricks is for kids. We know how to operate on the other side of not getting tricked. So what they're used to do back in Edward I is if you owed a debt, they would send a sheriff out with a warrant, gee, go figure, to arrest you. This is all civil. This is not criminal. It's just a smokescreen to cover up what they're doing. Mercantile civil law and what they used to do when they arrest people with a warrant and brought the person into court and make them sign a bond to release until civil suit. It actually says civil suit in the clerk's practice. Anyways, there are some transcripts of the thoughts on this. He writes this on the board. And so how do you spell clerk's practice? Latin for practice. If you look up praxis, it means practice. So they're practicing on you folks. Anyways, this is the only book I've ever seen about every Admiralty book in existence is an actual practice book, and it goes into everything that they teach. It talks about letter of rogatories. It's about the collection of the debt. What they do is arrest you. They hold you. Basically, they hold you until the suit has been completed, and when they get a default judgment on you because of your failure to pay the debt, they put you in prison. Anyone who's been in jail or prison that knows this, they know I'm not wrong on this. Attorneys are there to cover up the smoke screen, and what attorneys do, because no one knows what's going on, is they lead you into dishonor or default judgment, and then the court puts you into prison. Then they sell your default judgment, and who do they sell it to? Believe it or not, the U.S. District Court buys up all these state court judgments. Get on a search engine and type in U.S. courts. Gene spent 8 hours just looking up this stuff. He says you get to go to the U.S. courts, go to the 11 circuit courts of the United States, circuit 1 through 11. Anyways, folks, this is really some of the more technical stuff, but it's all in there. This is all available for everybody to read and digest, and this is going to give you a lot more clarity. And that's why we posted on suijuris.me about the birth certificate bond scam. You want the 14-page condensed overview of what's really going on. Everything you put your sin on, your signature is basically a hypothecation. There is no money of substance.
Peter,
Yep.
I want you to keep going here. I need about 2 minutes.
Yep.
Just got to sort something out here. But I'm just going to let you keep going. We've got 12 minutes left here, and I do want to cover one little thing. It'll take me about 2 minutes at the end. But carry on,
okay.
And I will. I'll tag you when I'm back. It'll be like 2 minutes.
Okay, cool. Anyways, folks, let's just cuss up the QSIP number I was talking about. It's a trademark of Standard & Poor's, which is located on the bottom floor of the DTC of 55 Water Street, where your bond sits. When you were born, they sent that sucker over, and that's what got the game going. It's actually called. There's the definition. I don't have it on me at the second, but it's actually it's posted on my PDF file. Anyways, folks. You can't make this stuff up. This is the stuff that nobody's talking about. This is the stuff that nobody's internalizing, and it's just about the money. Hey, we proved it on the front end of this show when we talked to Deatra. That's what that lovely brother told her. Said, "Oh, it's just about the money, nothing personal." Yeah, well, I take it pretty damn personal when you try and draft me for performance and steal my private side exemption without me even knowing. It's all smoke and mirrors, folks. So you have capacity, you have ability to learn this stuff. It's not complex. It just seems like it is because it's new to you. Anyways, you got to love, though, you have the Congress of Commissioners. They're made up of 72 judges and lawyers. These judges and lawyers, they're the one who drew up the Uniform Commercial Code, which everything is operating under. Everything is under what's called Lex Mercantoria. If you go into the state statutes, I don't care what code you go into, it'll say the principle of law and equity of the law merchant is the decision in all courts. It's all commercial law. Everything is commercial. Anyways, folks, this is probably one of the best calls you'll hear in a long time as far as covering actual substance of truth, and we're giving it to you straight up, but you got to be willing to dig in a little bit and read this. It's all about the negotiable instruments laws. Because, folks, they think you're all bankers. That's what they classify you, because you're using those Federal Reserve notes, those instruments, so you're all classified as bankers. So, anyways, on that note, I'm sort of wore out, folks, but I'll tell you what, this information is available to all, and it's time to wake up. For those who are stuck on the slave plantation, it's time to get off. You have the option to move forward. It's a simple administrative process. Go to suijuris.me and start going and watching the 5 steps on what's going on here, and it's going to give you total clarity on if you're sick and tired of the pain, you can remove the pain. You have an option. It's a choice, but you got to make a choice. As a matter of fact, I want to talk about a little success story. It's mine. It's all beauty because I haven't posted it. I went down to the postmaster here in this area that I am on the land, and I decided to go cash a postal money order with my international ID. Well, for those of you who think we're full of baloney and, it's a big hoax with the Postmaster General and all this, folks, you don't understand the power behind this. This is incredible. Anyways, I walk in, put forward my international ID because they've got a new scam down at the post office, folks, and that's basically to give you your government ID so they can put the numbers on the back so they can track it as a taxable event. Well, they're going to have a hard time tracking anything on a taxable event on my part because I'm no longer on USA Inc. because they took down the numbers, and it's my international ID that goes straight into the Divine Province. So the Divine Province doesn't get these bills anymore. So, anyways, folks, I had no difficulty in operating with actually cashing a postal money order in my private side, in my private capacity, with my international ID, and it took all of about 90 seconds. The postmaster looked at the ID, and I was expecting maybe she was going to get a little perplexed, and I would have to give her some schooling. I didn't have to give her nothing. She just go ahead and wrote down the digits off my international ID, which basically brings me into the private side status, and all is well in the world, folks. So this is another success story. There's been many of them. We haven't posted any. We're going to probably start, but it's time to go ahead, folks. For those who are waiting for all of us to go through first, well, you know what, folks? It takes the faith of a mustard seed to bring yourself out. It's up to you. Anyways, with that, Kate, I guess if you're on, I'm good.
Yeah, no, I was letting you finish up there. I just posted in the chat room of Freedom Reigns. By the way, people, if you want to go there, if you're listening and you're not there, you need to show up because I post a lot of stuff in here during the show. It's freedomreigns.us/chat. And what I just posted in there was the link where you can get John E. Hall's book. The link is freedom-school.com/admiralty/index.html. That's the link, and John's the book you're speaking of there, the Clerk's Praxis, is in there, and I have already got a copy of it downloaded and well saved. So that way.
Kate, I got plenty. Kate, I got plenty of copies of that PDF. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do a mass blast and send it to everybody. So they'll never be able to put it back in the bucket. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, and here's something else that I was thinking of that people can start doing is once they get their heads around this and understanding what it is, it's time to start throwing fear into the courts. And literally, what I would suggest to people that if you do want to start making a difference. Just take a walk down to your local courtroom in the morning and just start handing out packages of this already printed, as in the SF 24, 25, 25A, SF 273, 274, and 275, along with the commercial rules PDF that I have. I've got Cynthia actually put the package together. Thank you, Peter, for sending everything, and she put it all together for me.
Very good.
Where you can and your email and everything else. You can start handing this information out to people on the street that are going in to court, especially if you want to feel good about it. Family court's a good place to start, and also traffic court, where people can start going in and just asking the Crown Prosecutor in terms of Canada or the District Attorney in terms of the U.S. and whatever it is in the U.K. And you can start because everything is going through direct current, Washington, D.C. That's why I know that's the center. Because they've placed all the direct current there. So I don't care where in the world you are from. It is all siphoned through Washington, District of Columbia, the direct current of the planet. I assure you that's where it's at. So what you can do is start just handing out these packages saying it's all about the money, and you might even want to get some T-shirts made up saying with the courts it's all about the money. And you're going to find a lot of friends that will come up to you immediately, going, "Yeah, we know that." And of course, you're going to find some uniformed people. But here's what I'm going to offer up to all the beautiful, honorable law enforcement people out there that are listening. If you do want to get a hold of me, you can call me on my cell. It's area 226-971-9675, and you can call me up, and I'm going to show you how to discharge your mortgage. I'm going to show you how to do the things that instead of you settling for these table scraps and very shortly having to pay all the fines that you're writing because people are going to get real smart real quick and you won't have a choice. But what I'm willing to do is those that beat me to a fucking pulp, mentally, physically, and spiritually, I am here. This is where I want to show the love. I am here to show you that I can actually alleviate you of all the debt you think you have. Where your masters are only offering you table scraps, I'll offer you the world. That's how we turn these guys around. That's how we make the difference. It's not about hating them and going after them. Many of them do not even have a clue of what's going on. And this is why we educate those, especially those that are armed and dangerous, where they have been bred for ego. So free house, that might appeal to their ego. Who knows? That's my sarcasm. So this is why you need to get into peace and you need to center yourself. But the first thing you can do is all these documents, start printing them up, and start handing them out to, Joe Average on the street. And better yet, make a point of going in and talking to the DA and talking to the...
Hey, Kate.
Yeah, go ahead.
Kate, the kicker document that everybody should be given to every DA, public pretender, clerk of the court, and judge is the 14-page document on suijuris.me, and it's a downloadable PDF, and it's called the Birth Certificate Securitization Scam. I think it's called Birth Certificate Bond Scam as far as the icon in Step 3, and they can download it for free.
Okay, and we got 10.5. Yeah, I know the one, the BC Scam, and I'm making that available to everyone. And that's the one. It's a 14-pager. You just print that out, and you can walk into any court, and I would recommend printing as many copies as you can, and just start handing them out to different law firms, seriously, just go out and do it. And you will change the world. You will change it from the inside, and that's the only way we can. So on that note, Peter, I gotta say thank you so much. We got a minute. I gotta say thank you so much. Don't forget, you go to suijuris.me and get this stuff, or you can go to loveovermind.wordpress.com. It's all there as well. You can email me. You can call me. I gave you my cell number. I have very limited minutes, but I will definitely make everything I know available to you. So, Peter, thank you so much. And I know you're speaking on behalf of Divine Province. For those that are still in Babylon, we've given them a way out. And I'm going to put this into full force and effect, and we're going to have a little bit of fun because I'm a bitch. Get over it. The tranny dyke is on fire. Time to play hardball. So on that happy note, I'm going to say to everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Make this program available as many people as possible. Freedom reigns. It's outside the box. Much love to you. Be safe.
Okay, go ahead and post it for me. Send it to me as an attachment so I can get it put on suijuris.me ASAP whenever you get it done.
Okay. Show's over. It just ended. So we're still recording right now, but we just went off the air. So Peter, thank you so much, man.
Cool. Hey, this was a beauty. This was huge. This is massive. Hey, thank you. It was. Remember, the timing is never wrong with you and I, because I'll tell you what, because we bind it up on a whole different level on this thing, and I'm really excited because this will go straight on suijuris.me for posting. I'll be sending out a mass blast email tomorrow. It's time for the sheep to get the shit out. You know what I'm saying?
I'm totally with you there, and the good news is what we're talking about will be on the recording. It's just going to be on air. So what I'm gonna say to you is I'm leaving the open invitation. If you want to come back Friday, I know Tony won't have a problem with it, and I know I won't. So please feel free. But I need to get you on the air as much as possible. So I'd love you to have your own show, and there are sites available if you would be interested. Reason why I'm going to say this to you: if you are interested in doing a show, it's very simple to do, and if for any reason you can't do it, I can be backup. I can take the reins just in case. But what I'd like you to do is maybe talk to Deatra about possibly doing a show with you, JT, maybe even once a week for an update for people, just to use it as an update means, so that you have the recording, and where people aren't calling you and badgering you, at least you got you and JT and Michael and who you want to bring in can have a recording of it, and you will be putting your thoughts out there into the universe and where it's available, where you can direct people. Just listen to this. The answers are there. It'll save you a shit pile of time. So anyway, just think about it. Consider one night a week kind of thing for 2 hours, you and JT, or just you, or just whatever you want to do, just to talk about this stuff. At least get it, on a recordable record that you can put on your site. Yeah,
I'd like to see him do another TV deal with brother Guzman down in Cancun. Ecuador.
Ecuador. I'm going to talk. Johnny was tagging me tonight. I'm going to talk to Johnny right now, and I will. If you can talk to JT, I will get him set up for Thursday. That's my normal spot with Johnny, and I will get that hour spot for JT with Johnny. If I'll line it up right now.
I know he's knee deep in the shit. Got the crocodile snapping, just trying to move this train forward because he's really, really busy. But I will shoot him an email through the course of the week and see if he'd be interested in doing another call with either Johnny or you or us or whatever.
I'm going to talk to Johnny right now, and I'll line him up for Thursday. Worst case scenario, if he can't do it, I'll do the hour, and I'll talk about the same shit anyway. So it's all good. Okay?
Cool. Excellent. I will post with JT tomorrow morning. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow is Thursday.
Yep. I can line it up maybe.
I think JT's got. He don't like being caught flat-footed because he's like me. I can do it, but
let me line it up for next week. I'll line it up for next Thursday. And
now that would probably be doable. I can go with it. I can go to him with that and see if I can get him to bite.
And worst case scenario, I'll cover the slot anyway. So there's no pressure for him. It's all I'm trying to do here is open doors for him. That's all.
Well, hey, we could always do a tag team with Johnny ourselves.
Okay, well then let me talk to Johnny. Maybe you and I can go on there tomorrow night. Okay.
That might be very doable. Excellent. Okay, Kate, I will talk to you in the AM.
Okay. Much love to you, and I will talk to you tomorrow. I'm going to call Johnny right now. Okay.
Thank you very much. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.